Welcome to week 2 of the No Sugar Challenge. We're glad you guys have stuck with us, hopefully to this part. I know a couple people are just getting started this week because of travel, vacations, family, things like that. So we'll do a quick overview of the first week, just kind of what to expect in that first week, and then where hopefully most of us are going from now. And then we're going to do a Q&A from a bunch of questions that we got over the last week. So if you guys have questions, if I don't answer them at the end of the meeting, feel free to jump into our Lakewood Ranch Holistic Health Facebook group. Message us on Facebook, on Instagram, any of those places, and we can answer questions quicker. Or you can go ahead and reply to the email, let April know, and we'll get those questions answered on the week 3 Q&A. I also just want to put a plug in here at the beginning in case you guys don't make it with me all the way till the end. We are going to be doing a no sugar January, how to get back to normal, the last week of January. So I believe we're going to do that on the 30th, but I'm not 100% sure. So at any rate, put in your calendars, last week of January, we're going to do a reintegration type of a talk. It'll be held in the office here. We'll also be streaming that into our Lakewood Ranch Holistic Health Facebook group, so you can catch that afterwards. If you didn't catch the talk I did last Thursday, talking all about the negative impacts of sugar on your health and kind of what the goals are for no sugar, that talk is also saved in that Lakewood Ranch Holistic Health group. So, moral of the story, if you're not in the Lakewood Ranch Holistic Health Facebook group, go ahead and join that. That's a great resource for you. And then stay tuned for the rest of the month, and we'll get that Eventbrite made for that talk and get that out to you guys ASAP. And it may even be in the same email that this video comes in, hopefully. Okay, so if you're just getting started with no sugar this week, just know first week is the worst. And you can see probably from that Facebook group, maybe some of the comments and things that have been asked. It's typically not super fun. You may notice lack of energy, poor sleep, feeling like you're flu. I've got a lot of questions about some different symptoms that people were dealing with here. So we'll talk more about that kind of at the end. Headaches are a big one as well, lack of energy. So just make sure you're focusing on sleep, being really easy with your exercise, restorative exercise, things like that. And then staying hydrated, drinking plenty of water, and just giving yourself time to recover and kind of rest in this first week. If you started with the rest of us on January 1st, then you should be starting to feel much better this week. I know,
so much better.
Yes, I know I noticed in my run on Sunday that I felt amazing compared to feeling terrible for the 4 runs I did before that last week. So I know I'm starting to turn the corner. Energy's a lot better. I haven't actually had to drink as much coffee. I still have drank as much coffee because I like to drink coffee, but I haven't needed to, and there's a big important difference with that. And my sleep's been good as well. So we don't want to take up too much time talking about that, because once we get past that 7 to 10 day mark, almost everybody's going to start feeling a lot better. There may be some stragglers that for the first couple weeks struggle, but for the most part we should be doing a lot better at this point, and it should just be smooth sailing for the rest of the time. So we want to spend more time addressing is kind of what we've been doing with meal prep, diet, food, that type of stuff, to give you guys some continual encouragement here as we move through the next couple weeks, because the first week's exciting, you're new to it, you start making all these new recipes, and then at some point there's going to be a time where we hit this wall where it's, all right, I'm tired of eating the same thing all the time. The meat and veggies was fine for a week, but now it's not. So what can we start doing to add in? What are some other recipe ideas? So no, you were just telling me about what you had for dinner last night. I saw you made something awesome last week.
Yeah, so I've been an effort of trying to keep me sustainable in these new way of living and being. I've been keeping like a meal log of everything, so that if I really like a recipe that I made, I'll star it and make it again. But pretty much I've been, obviously keeping with the meat and veggie theme, but interchanging different foods. Last week I made a really good like taco bowl almost, and I like slow cooked chicken thighs and add cauliflower rice, bunch of veggies, avocado, seasoned it up. Which, speaking of seasonings, I've had a lot of people ask, like, are seasonings okay? What's not okay? What's,
Yeah. Is that a question for me?
It's both.
Yeah.
An open conversation.
Yeah, one thing people struggle with is that they use carbs and they use butter and things that you're not allowed to have on no sugar. They're using those types of fats and carbs to bring flavor to dishes or to satiate your palate. And when you take those things away, a lot of times people struggle because their food starts to taste bland. Yeah. And in reality, we're probably just not seasoning enough.
Yeah.
So we do food allergy testing in the office, as I'm sure a lot of you are aware of. And so a lot of people do have allergies to specific seasonings, black pepper, garlic. We see ginger relatively frequently.
Cumin.
Cumin. Mm-hmm. Do you have cumin?
I do.
Ooh, sorry for your... How'd you make taco bowls?
I just used other ingredients like chipotle and
yeah. Okay.
Chili.
So, and see, we've been doing this for a while, so it's easy to say you can't have cumin, so you can use coriander, paprika, chipotle powder. Like, there's a ton of stuff that you can use. If you're new at it, though, it can definitely be a little bit overwhelming, which is why April's a really great resource, because she has a lot of those answers. But yeah, with spices, adding more spice than you would normally add is awesome. And I think we talked last week maybe a little bit about adding other flavor profiles into your dish, because you can't have sweet, but we can have salty, we can have savory, we can have sour, we can have spicy. So if you take away one of those flavor profiles, but you're adding 2 or 3 other, you're gonna excite your brain, you're gonna excite your tongue and your taste buds, and you'll notice a heightened sense of satiety and satisfaction after your meal. So one thing I've been adding a lot more is lime juice and lemon juice, because that little bit of acidity I think tastes awesome, and it helps to kind of excite my palate again. And using a lot of spice does the same thing, and a ton of salt. So chances are you're under-salting your food, so just making sure that you're adding plenty of that good pink sea salt,
quality
Celtic sea salt.
Yeah, not table salt.
Not table salt. Let's kind of keep rolling here with some questions, some other stuff that maybe came up.
Yeah, so here are some like weird symptoms.
Okay.
Why does my stomach hurt?
Probably because you're introducing new foods that your body's not used to. When we take carbohydrates away, carbohydrates, fats, and proteins are all broken down by different enzymes and things in the body. Carbs are broken down by enzymes mostly created by the pancreas. So if a meal is super carb heavy, and then we take the carbs away and we fill the plate with vegetables, with proteins, with fats, those are broken down differently in the body. And so it is going to put more stress on those types of systems, and that may create some digestive discomfort. So if you're feeling like really heavy, like a ball in your stomach after you eat a heavy protein meal, adding in apple cider vinegar, betaine, HCl, those types of things are going to help aid the breakdown of protein. Making sure you have plenty of stomach acid. If you're eating a lot of fats, which we should be adding more fat in and trying to get that fat number up, we've got to make sure that gallbladder is working properly. If it's not, we have a supplement called Gallbladder Complex. If you feel like you're burping a lot, if your stool is more kind of green yellowish, that's a pretty good indicator that you're not breaking those fats down, and then we can add in something like Gallbladder Complex to help that.
I use that because I don't have a gallbladder.
Okay, so. There you go. So, and that's topic for a whole nother video.
Why do I crave fruit after a workout?
I have a feeling this answer is going to be pretty long. The short answer is because after you go through a workout, you're utilizing all of your blood sugar and muscle glucose, muscle glycogen, so you're using up all those sugar stores, and you can get into a hypoglycemic or a low blood sugar mode right after a workout. Your brain's very smart. If your blood sugar drops, you're going to have hormonal signals and chemical messengers that are going to tell your body to eat a meal full of sugar, like fruit or something like that. That's going to help raise that blood sugar back up.
Makes sense. So is it important to kind of dial back your workout activity or intensity?
Yes. So especially over that first week, you should be really resting, doing more restorative movements, yoga, things like that. Once we start switching into being able to utilize ketogenesis or ketosis and that stuff, you should be able to start ramping up that intensity now. I know that because I'm training for a marathon right now, so I haven't really had the luxury of reducing my workout intensity. But I was basically forced to because I felt like I was running with bricks in my legs. So I went from running 4.5 miles to feeling like I was going to die on day 1 of no sugar. And then Sunday, I ran 10.5 miles, and I felt like I was running downhill, and it was the fastest I've run across any of my workouts for the last week. And so that's a pretty good indicator that my body's switching energy systems, and I'm starting to be better at utilizing other fuel sources, which is awesome. But the short answer there is that working out can create a hypoglycemic state. Your brain's going to crave sugar to kind of raise that. And we'll talk about that. It reminds me, I'll make a note of that. Remind me to talk about that at the reintroduction meeting that we're going to do in the office, because we'll talk about when the best times to eat carbs and proteins and things like that are. And having a simple sugar like a banana or something like that after a workout is awesome, because you're going to just be able to drive that sugar back into the muscle so they can start to heal and repair.
Awesome. My husband actually asked this question. Am I supposed to feel hungrier? I wake up with an appetite now.
Your husband's probably not eating as much as he was before, potentially. He's probably not snacking as much. That appetite will improve over the next couple weeks.
Makes sense. And he's doing intense workouts, so there we go.
And yes. Yep. So he didn't listen to what I said in the last meeting where we need to decrease workout intensity. So, but he'll learn.
Yeah. Otherwise, what can we expect on week 2?
Week 2, you should start expecting that brain fog starts to lift and go away. Sleep should get better. Energy should get better. Workouts should get better. Everything that sucked for the first week should start getting better from here on out.
I've noticed a big difference. Just my whole body feels less inflamed.
Yeah, should be losing weight. If we're not losing weight, we should at least be feeling lighter. And again, we don't like to use weight necessarily as a good indicator of how our body's adapting to this, but the feeling of lightness, just lightness, I guess. It's kind of like when you get adjusted, you stand up, you feel lighter and looser. Joints shouldn't be as stiff. The chronic inflammation should be better. Yeah.
Clothes fit a little bit looser, maybe.
Clothes should fit looser. Yep.
Outside of that, is it almost over? I'm just kidding.
Well, it's almost over. Only 21 days left.
No, it's been awesome. I've really enjoyed it, and I feel like people that I talk to are really enjoying this new way of living.
Yes, cool. And I have a couple questions that came in here. One of them, I was just talking to someone this morning, and they were struggling with the amount of time that they've been spending in the kitchen. Said he was in the kitchen meal prepping from 4:30 to 9:30 yesterday.
Ooh.
So there may be a piece of that that's a learning curve if you're not used to cooking this type of food. Potentially, he now has meals for the rest of the month.
I was going to say he might be doing it for like weeks
so maybe we're not.
time.
Yeah, maybe we're meal prepping too much at once. But I kind of dug in a little bit, and it sounds like the response was, I think that's probably on us though for trying all these new dishes we've never made with 100 ingredients.
Yeah.
So simplicity is going to be key here. You're going to start to notice when you're cooking with different foods that you can utilize less ingredients and still make a dish taste really good. And I think that kind of goes back to the spices too.
Yes.
If you're cooking with enough spices, you shouldn't have to add 1,000 things. Now I made fajitas last night, and it took like 10 spices to make the fajita mix. But I just grabbed them out of the pantry, threw them in a bowl real quick, and it only took me 3 minutes to get the spices together. So,
and if you have enough, you can save that for another dish.
Yes.
The spices.
But I mean, I've spent 5 hours in the kitchen meal prepping before. I just am able to budget that, and I also know that I'm going to get that time savings back later on, and I'm going to get the health savings of it as well, because I'm going to be eating healthier dishes.
Right, and you're not tempted to go eat food out and not really know what you're getting.
Yes. So if you have like a deep freezer or something like that, if you meal prep, you fill up 10 glass containers and throw them in the freezer. Now every day on the way out the door, I just grab whatever one's on top, bring it to the office, it's thawed by lunchtime, I heat it up, and I'm good to go.
Now I have, full disclosure, been to the grocery store more often than normal, but there's things like delivery services, so you don't have to actually go in or even pick up, order ahead kind of thing. So.
And I've been using the Whole Foods pickup, which has been really nice. I've been to Costco to get a bunch of stuff all at once. And I also have the freezer stocked with meat and fish and that type of stuff. So like last night we got home at 7:30 and we needed to eat something, so I just grabbed some frozen bison steak strips and just threw together fajitas really quick. And it was super awesome. So hopefully that helps. Again, if you guys have questions, shoot us an email, Sarasota at The Wellness Way. Just make sure that in the subject bar you put something like no sugar questions or something like that. We'll make sure to answer those next time. Make sure to join that Lakewood Ranch Holistic Health Facebook group. And you can pop on there. There's a ton of people that have been posting recipes, foods, things like that. So that's a great resource as well. Hope you guys start feeling awesome soon, and we'll chat next week.